still don't have distributive property. As far as having like terms, we don't have any that are on the same side of the equation, but I want to move the variable. I do have variables on both sides, and to undo that, I'm going to move the variable left. Just like when you do something to one side, you got to do it to the other side. So to move this 7n to the left, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to subtract 7n. I'm subtracting 7n because it's positive. And so minus 7n on both sides. And I'm left with this 1 comes down. 8 minus 7 is positive 1. And remember that we don't have to put positive 1. We just know that n is 1n. And so then negative 2 drops down. Again, these cancel each other out. And so you're left with 1 plus n equals negative 2. So to undo the positive 1, we're going to subtract 1 on both sides. And so these will cancel out. You're left with just simply n. And then negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. And so that's your final answer. All right, moving on to 27. 27, again, does not have distributive property, but it does have like terms. In this case, right here, we have positive 5 minus 5. So that's really just going to equal 0. But when things equal 0, they just cancel out. So we can get rid of that part of the problem. And so negative 3n drops down, plus 5 drops down, equal sign drops down, minus 2n drops down. And I'm left with variables on both sides. So I want to move my variable to the left side. And so to do that, I'm going to add 2n to both sides. Add 2n to both sides. And so negative 3 plus 2 is going to be negative 1n, or negative n, plus 5 drops down. Now negative 2n plus 2n is just going to simply equal 0. Before we were saying they cancel each other out, but when everything cancels out on one side, it's equal to 0. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at getting rid of our addition or subtraction. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. We're going to be left with negative n is equal to negative 5. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 1, because even though it just says negative n, there's always a 1 there. And so a negative divided by a negative is positive. We're left with simply just n. And a negative divided by a negative is positive, so we're left with n is equal to 5. And that is your final answer.